BuckeyeHuddle.com. Southern Swing continues. We've made it to the great state of Texas. We are here with one of the top junior receivers in the country, Tay Ellis, Crowley High School. Suburban, Fort Worth, probably closer to Fort Worth than Dallas.
Yeah, about Fort Worth.
Yeah. The Metroplex. I mean, its place is enormous. First of all, Tay, how you doing? How's life?
Man, I'm good, man. Just been training, been working out a lot, so I'm good, man.
Appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon. Ohio State's offered you already. They've made you a top early target for the 2027 class. You were up last June. How was that experience for you? How was that camp?
It was good, especially with, Coach Hartline. He's arguably one of the best receiver coaches in the country, you could say. They definitely consider receiver you. So, working with him was very different. I didn't know the techniques that he worked, but he worked techniques just like D-Rob. D-Rob is my trainer down here in Texas. So them two are similar in the ways that how they work. So, it was different, but it was unique. But it was good. I liked it. I loved the camp.
I guess how important is it when you look at schools, working with the coach beforehand, doing a camp like that? Is that important to you as you kind of look at different schools, just so you kind of know what that might be like?
Yeah, it definitely is. Going into a camp, that's what I look for. So the first thing I look for going into a camp is communication. How well can the coach articulate his information to me and communicate to me? That's the first thing I look for. The second thing I look for is just a family atmosphere. How we're having a conversation. That's what I look for. So the third thing I would say is really just a family environment. What it's like around the campus, what it's like around just practice, is it music or is it not music? Just the whole tradition. That's what I look for.
You strike me as a music guy.
Yeah.
Liking the music. As far as your links to Ohio State, this was interesting. We kind of found some of this stuff out. You have some family ties to Ohio. Kind of explain to us your family tie to Ohio.
Well, my grandpa's side of the family is all from Ohio. So, I have my grandpa, I think he's from Columbus. All of those guys are, from Columbus and, Akron and different parts of Ohio. My mom, she's from Illinois. She's from up north. So most of my family is already from up north. I'm really the only one traditionally really down south. I'm from Arkansas. So when I went up to Ohio State, it was different because I'd never been up north before. So it was very different. The tradition was different. The culture was different. The homes was different. Everything was different to me.
Different, but good?
Yeah, yes, sir. It was good. It was good. It was good. It was amazing.
As far as your family, how did you matriculate all the way down here? What, just jobs take people to certain places?
Well, really, my mom, she moved from Illinois. So, unfortunately, she had to move from Illinois to Arkansas. Okay. So, when she moved to Arkansas, she had me in Arkansas. Okay. Of course. And when we were just young, I was about 8-9 years old, and that's when I originally moved to Texas. I think it was just because, better opportunities in Texas. Yep. Arkansas really don't have the amazing opportunities that Texas have. So, we moved to Texas, and ever since then, it's been pretty good. Yeah.
How, I guess, intense is your family now that you're being recruited to play football by Ohio State? How much do you hear from them about Ohio State, or is there any pressure being put on you there?
Right, I hear pressure every day. I hear things about them every day. Ohio State fans is probably one of the biggest fans in the country. I mean, they have a large alumni base, and, my grandpa, they're from Ohio. Everybody's from up north. They love Ohio State. I mean, they have blankets from lock screens to everything you can name, every gear, they have it from Ohio State. They love Ohio State. So I hear about that every single day.
They're not going to, kidnap you and make you go up there, are they?
Man, I think so, man. I think so.
Obviously, you've got a lot of good options at this point, so it's early. You don't need to really be worried too much about a decision or anything like that, but where are some other schools you're talking to a lot, or schools you visited this spring, or anything that's standing out to you right now?
Well, what stands out is Texas. I've been up there. I went up there this past coming weekend. I'll say about 2 weeks ago. It was different. The culture was unique. It was great. Texas, I've been hearing from a lot. Oregon, they've been very consistent. They've been up to my school a lot. I have been down there about 2-3 times already. So they're pretty good. The tradition is great. I've been hearing from Nebraska a lot. The Nebraska fans are crazy, man. Team Up North fans are crazy. They're different. So I've been hearing from them a lot. USC, I want to visit them. I've been hearing from them a lot. So I've been hearing from quite different schools a lot. So, they're just, they can't really legally recruit me now. So, right. I mean, they're being consistent, but they can't really,
Right. There's got to go through like a coach or something. To
yeah,
talk
exactly.
To people.
So they're still still making their ways.
Yeah. I guess you got all these great options already. Is it kind of overwhelming trying to like process all that, just all the different schools?
It's definitely overwhelming, just because coaches lie, everybody lies, so it's a lot that goes into it, which people don't know. So it's overwhelming, but I would say it's just a blessing from God that I have all these amazing, great things that God had given me.
Yeah. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie.
Is that how that works?
Lie. Numbers, stats do not lie.
So, with Ohio State, you said you're going to try and get back relatively soon. When are you hoping to get back, and what might that visit look like for you?
I'm hoping to get back, I want to say June 12th for the camp again, just showcase my skills once again. Really just, I'm hoping to see more consistency. I seen a lot of consistency when I was down there, but I'm just hoping to see like the whole campus.
Yeah.
I really didn't visit the whole campus, really didn't get the the Ohio Buckeye tradition yet.
Yep.
But when I was down there, it was great. The tradition was great. It was very unique. The coaching staff was great, very unique. Coach Hartline, I know if I go there, he's going to be there because he's been there, the whole time. They invest in Coach Hartline. So I believe in him. BuckeyeNation believe in him. So, that's great. So I'm definitely looking for, when I get back, the Buckeye tradition.
Yep. And with that, you talked about a little bit earlier, Coach Hartline getting the offensive coordinator position. He'll be calling plays this year. I guess how appealing is that to you as a receiver, having kind of the receivers coach have that big of a hand in the offense?
It stands out because you don't get that a lot. You don't get like the receiver coach. He's being main dominant to the receivers, and all of a sudden he becomes the offensive coordinator. You don't get that a lot. So with Coach Hartline, they were already a passing offense. They were arguably the top 3 passing offense in the country last season. So for him just to be the offensive coordinator now, I know they're going to progress to even the number 1 spot.
We talked about this a little bit. You are kind of in communication with a couple of Ohio State receiver commits. We'll talk about Jameer Brown first, your class, one of the top receivers in the country as well. Where did this come from? How often are you guys talking?
Well, we talk very often. It came from, when I got down there. When I originally got down there, I didn't see him, but I posted about it on social media. He followed me. We just stayed in contact from then, and we recently have seen each other at OT7, 7-on-7.
Yeah.
So, we seen each other, we spoke, we met up, and, we just kind of have that we want to win vibe. Mm-hmm. So, when you have that mentality, when you put 2 guys in the room that wants to be successful, that want to go to the league, you're going to click. So, we clicked, and, that's my guy. Same as Devin Sanchez.
Yeah. You got a lot of connections here. We talk about. You talked about Jameer maybe teaming up for 7-on-7.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. What would that look like?
It'd be different.
Scary.
Just because we're both fast, explosive athletes. Arguably we were the fastest in our class. So with him on one side of the ball and me on the other side, who can you guard?
Ohio State's had a very good run with Texas players, especially receivers. Obviously, there's Garrett Wilson, there's Jackson Smith-Njigba. If you go back a little further, David Boston. You seem to have more of a connection with Garrett, maybe in terms of how you view your game. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
What are some things you like about Garrett, or some things you saw in Garrett that maybe you think you kind of have in your own game?
His speed standpoint, the way he's fast, he's very explosive off the ball. And just the way his detailed routes are. He runs the league-like routes. Even in college, he ran the 20-yard comebacks, the 20-yard stops. He was very explosive, and I feel that in my game as well. When the ball is thrown in the air, we go get the ball. No matter where it is, we high point the ball, we go get the ball. We love jumping for the ball. We're very athletic. So, I feel like we're in that same category of just, being alike.
That is a great scouting report on Garrett, by the way. I've known Garrett since he was about waist high. I covered his older brothers at Dublin Jerome before they moved to Texas, and that is exactly how I would describe Garrett Wilson's game. So good job. You got a future in this. You're going to take my job. As far as just the general vibe around here, though, obviously Texas is going to be a strong pull. They're not going to want you to leave the state. How important is things like geography? I know you've moved around a little bit in your life. You got family in different parts of the country. How important is location to you as you look at this?
I feel as though it's very important to me. Just because I don't want to be. I want to be in a city. I don't want to be in a country type of environment. So I want to be in the big city with the big lights and media markets and all that things matter. So all that things plays a part in my recruitment. So that definitely stands out, and that definitely matters.
But not necessarily distance from home is not so much.
I mean,
Or is that part of the equation too?
Technically, I would say my home is Arkansas.
Yeah.
So, my home isn't technically Texas. So, I tell people all the time I don't want to be counted as a Texas kid,
Yeah.
So, as me considering Arkansas as my home, Texas isn't really my home. So, I can go anywhere in the country. I'm open to everything, but I want to be in a city environment.
Gotcha. That makes sense. You talked to Chris Henry Jr. as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's trying to get you. What's he said to you about Ohio State? And obviously he's got a very long-standing relationship with Coach Hartline. He's been to Columbus numerous times. Just how are those conversations with Chris?
They're very important, but they're very different at the same time. I'll start off with the standpoint of his tradition. Chris is, not your average guy. He actually has, been teaching me the, I don't want to say it wrong. I think he's Hawaiian. What is, I don't know his.
Yeah.
Polynesian. So he's been teaching me those different traditions, which has been amazing.
Yeah.
I love different cultures. So that's been amazing.
Yeah.
One. Two, about Ohio State, he keeps bringing up receiver U. every time we talk or anybody brings up Ohio State and me being a receiver, they bring up receiver U. And, he has talked about Ohio State and receiver U 1,000 times. So that conversation has been unique. It's been great. He wants me to be there. He wants me to commit. He wants me to be alongside with him.
And look, Ohio State's not the only school that produces good receivers, but they did set a record with 4 straight years with a first-round wide receiver. When you see something like that, or whether it's them or another school that does a great job producing, how important is that in your evaluation of schools? Is seeing that they're sending guys to the NFL?
When I see that, it stands out. Just because my main thing for a school in my recruitment is going to the league. That's what I want to do. That's my future. So league production definitely matters. So when I see a school that has 4 or 5 or 7 or something crazy amount of numbers that go first round, that stand out. That play a big part of my recruitment.
Yeah. Because remember, men and women lie, but numbers don't lie.
Yes.
That's right. We gotta go. It all comes back to that. Now, you mentioned Devin Sanchez. We got to throw that one out. Devin, obviously up at Ohio State now, true freshman. Very good early looks at him so far. They've thrown him into the fire, going against Jeremiah Smith in practice and getting right into it. Where's your relationship with Devin come from, and just how are those conversations you've had with him over the?
Well, previously, my past sophomore year, I played Devin. We played North Shore week 2. Going into that game, I studied a lot of film on Devin, a lot of film. I was determined to beat him on every concept, every route. Unfortunately, we did not get the win. We lost by a small margin, but, going up against Devin, it was incredible. I got to see what a next-level guy is and what a league-like guy is. That competition was great. We was very competitive, but after the game, we had friendly interactions. We dabbed each other up. We spoke, and, after that, we just hit it off. We follow each other on social media. We've been talking ever since. That's like my big brother. So I talk to him all the time about recruitment. His big thing is getting to Ohio State. He loves Ohio State. He tells me about every college in the country because he had every offer in the country. So he tells me about those different things. We make connections between what I like. So it's been great.
Yeah. Devin's hyper competitive. I've known him for a few years. You strike me as possibly being hyper competitive.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So that might be a good, just a good person to bounce things off. It seems like you kind of view things the same way, because I guarantee you he's watching your film wanting to beat you on every single rep, and kind of the same thing. How much of an iron sharpens iron thing does that play into things? Like if you're going against some 5-star corners or some top-level corners in practice every day, is that an appealing thing to you as you look at other schools?
It matters. It definitely matters, just because, my main thing is going to the league. So whatever squad I go to, that defense has to be just as good as me. That defense has to be league-like. They have to produce first-round picks. So, going into practice every day, I want to be competitive. I want to go against the best guy in the country, the best guy in the world. And Devin was the best guy in the world at the time, and, I had to go against him. That's how I look for it.
What can you improve on right now? Where's your focus this off season? Obviously, you'll do some 7-on-7 stuff. That'll be nice. But are there some certain areas of your game you're working on right now?
The main area that I really am working on is my pre-snap look. At the college level, you can't just get out there and just be Jeremiah Smith. I mean, Jeremiah Smith is athletic. He does a lot of things great, but the pre-snap look is what sets a receiver apart. breaking down the defense, knowing what they're doing before they even snap the ball. So that's what I've been working on this offseason.
Yeah, just kind of film study and kind of doing maybe some self-scouting on
Yes,
that
sir,
too,
yeah.
in terms of things you've done well, mistakes you may have made. How, I guess, you guys are so driven, but like, how do you continue to push yourself when you've got all these offers? I mean, some guys might be like, oh, I got my offers, but you continue to really, push it, keep the foot on the gas, however you want to put it. What drives you to keep that mentality?
Just getting better. I want to be the best in the world, and I'm not there yet. So, I have a list of, guys that they have so-called ranked above me, and, I follow that list every day. I look at that list, I follow it, and, that's where I want to be. I want to be the best in the world, and I continue to grow because I want to be the best in the world.
All right, Tay. I think there's some coaches here to see you, so we're gonna let you get going. We appreciate you taking the time here today. Good luck here on your upcoming visits. We'll maybe see you in Columbus next month.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.